Hi there, Sensei Nathan Sherman, Integrity Martial Arts Academy. What I'd like to bring to you today is a life skill topic we call stranger danger, stranger awareness, however you want to label it. And this is kind of in coordination with the community outreach we're currently doing in the schools from now until the end of the year on stranger awareness. The first way we start the Stranger Danger series is with the 3 basic questions. The first question, who is a stranger? A stranger to us is simply somebody you don't know. Okay, it can be a man, a woman, a child, just somebody you don't know. Does that make that stranger a quote-unquote bad stranger? Of course not. That just means we don't know that stranger. The second question, those 3 basic questions, is how do you know by looking at a stranger if that person is safe or unsafe? And that is a trick question, of course, because you cannot know. You just don't know. It's amazing how many school-age children do not know the answer to that. So I encourage you parents to make sure that you're really, practicing this with your child to make sure that they know. Just because somebody treats you nicely doesn't necessarily mean that they are a safe stranger. Thankfully, 99% of the people we run into are going to be safe, probably more than that. So that's the good news. But you never know. So that's why we make sure we put that question in there. And then the third question is, when is okay for a stranger to be your friend? When is it okay for that stranger to be safe to spend time with? And of course the answer is when the parents say so. When mom and dad say so, when you say so. So it's not when that person's nice to you. It's not when you've seen that person several times. It is, something that we want the children to be going to their parents and talking about and making sure, getting your permission, because as parents we do our due diligence on anybody that our children want to spend time with. So those are the 3 basic questions. The second part of this is called lures, the 5 lures. A lure, in our definition, is just a trick. Okay, that's how we teach it, a trick. It's like a fishing lure. The lures try to trick the real fish into grabbing on. Okay, so the 5 lures, in our opinion, are the 5 bad strangers that would try to do your child harm. The first of which, and they can go in any order, the first of which is Mr. Messenger, and that is the typical person that will walk up to a child and have a message or say something to the effect that your mom's running late, she asked me to pick you up, okay, that type of thing. That's Mr. Messenger, and of course this can be Mrs. Messenger as well. Okay, it's not just restricted to men, of course. Okay, we have Mr. Helpless, who's going to ask somebody to go with him or her to help them with something, find a lost puppy, that type of thing. The third lure is Mr. Gift Giver, or Mrs. Gift Giver, of course. Mr. Gift Giver is going to offer the child something, money, candy, toys, to go with that person, even if it's just, hey, come with me to my car. I have it with me at my car, just right over there. Okay, that is Mr. Gift Giver. We have Mr. Internet. As these children get older, they are chatting online, whether it's in a specific chat room, which they don't do till they're older, but online gaming is becoming very popular. They get their web friends, their virtual friends online, that who knows where they live or who they really are. Who they say they are is not necessarily who they are, and we want to make sure that they know not to give out information, and of course not to agree to meet anybody anywhere, of course, without you consenting and going along. Okay, so that is Mr. Internet. And then Mr. Scary. It's a little bit less of a lure, but it's still including lures. That is somebody that's going to come up and maybe grab and yell at you and try to scare you enough to comply and maybe go with you with the stranger. That is Mr. Scary. So in review, we have Mr. Messenger, Mr. Helpless, Mr. Gift Giver, Mr. Scary, Mr. Internet. Those are the 5 lures. The next component, the third component, is called No Go Yell Tell, and this is designed to teach a child what to do if they ever are in that bad situation, if they ever get that gut feeling that something is really wrong and they need to react to a specific person who is trying to harm them or lure them. So no means you yell no. Of course, you yell it to gain attention, you yell it to put your foot down, and you yell it to maybe even startle that person. Okay? Go means you run. You just run away as fast as you can, so that's no go. Yell means you yell for help, and when you yell, we want them to yell stranger danger. We don't want them to yell help. We don't want them to yell fire, because anybody hearing doesn't really know what's going on. If I ever heard somebody yell stranger danger, that would tell me exactly what's wrong, and I know any parent within hearing range would run to the aid of that child, because we take that very seriously. So no go, yell, and then tell means you tell a trusted adult. And a trusted adult to each child needs to be determined by the parents, specific neighbors, friends, that type of thing, but it probably needs to be discussed ahead of time so they know who they can run to if they can't find you specifically, and they need to go to another trusted, safe adult. The fourth component is the 4 go-to strangers. So if you have to go to a stranger for help, let's say you're running from a lure, which is of course the worst case scenario, and thankfully it's going to happen to a very, very small percentage of people, but we want them to be prepared just in case. Maybe they're running from a bully, maybe they're just lost. Maybe they're at the county fair this year and they're lost and they need to go to somebody. That's a very panicky state a child's going to be in. So the first one is anybody who wears a uniform. Obviously that could be a police officer, a fireman, or paramedic, but that could also be a specific type of employee, a construction worker, a crossing guard, somebody that is wearing a uniform. The second type is somebody who works in a store. The clerk of a store. Just run into the store and look for the person behind the counter, behind the register. It could be a store, a restaurant, a bank, okay, any type of business. The third one we teach is the mother with children, relying on the mother with those maternal instincts to help out, okay? And the fourth one is a little old lady, kind of along the same lines as the mother with children, relying on those maternal instincts. So if you have any questions, that is a Stranger Danger talk. Of course, we could talk a lot more on that, but that is the outline. If you're viewing this because your child received that talk today at school and they had a handout, and that's what brought you to our website to look at it, that is why we put this up, so you could get the details of that talk. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, you can get in touch with us. Thank you.